Let's take up chemical properties of alkynes. First, we are taking oxidation reactions. In oxidation, the first one is combustion of alkynes. The general equation for combustion of alkynes is represented as 2CnH2n minus 2, which is the general formula of alkynes, plus 3n minus 1 O2. Oxygen is required for combustion. It results in the formation of 2NCO2 plus 2 into n minus 1 water is formed. For acetylene, 2C2H2 plus 5O2 gives you 4CO2 plus 2H2O. Heat of combustion of this reaction is 1800 kilojoules per mole. So it's a highly exothermic reaction, and oxyacetylene flame is used for welding purposes. Let's take up some important points. One molecule or 1 mole of alkynes needs 3n minus 1 by 2 molecules or 3n minus 1 divided by 2 moles of oxygen for complete combustion respectively, where n is number of carbon atoms. 1 mole of alkyne will give n moles of carbon dioxide. 1 mole of alkynes will give n minus 1 mole of water. Oxyacetylene torch used in welding are results of combustion of acetylene. Next, we are taking oxidation with KMnO4. Under mild conditions, alkynes are oxidized to diketones and ketoacids depending upon the composition of alkyne. For example, terminal alkynes, this part is oxidized to carboxylic acid. And if there is alkyl group attached to the carbon which is attached to double bond, it will be oxidized to keto group. Let's take up as example 2-butene when reacts with KMnO4. This is aqueous solution of KMnO4. We can even take alkaline solution of KMnO4. This will give you 2 nascent oxygen and the product formed will be 2,3-butane dione. This compound has common name diacetyl. If you take propyne and oxidize with KMnO4 aqueous solution or alkaline KMnO4, the compound formed is 2-oxopropanoic acid. Here this carbon has changed to keto group and this carbon has changed to carboxylic acid group. The IUPAC name is we give preference to carboxylic acid because that is more preferred over keto. So this is the first priority, this is the second priority, this is the third carbon atom. Second carbon there is keto group whose prefix is oxo. So we call it 2-oxopropanoic acid. This is also called pyruvic acid. Here we had 2 carbon which were attached to triple bond and alkyl groups. Therefore, this carbon is oxidized to keto. This carbon is also oxidized to keto. We have acetylene. Acetylene, if we want to oxidize with the help of alkaline KMnO4 or aqueous KMnO4, it results in the formation of oxalic acid. Oxalic acid IUPAC name is ethane 1,2-dioic acid. Here both the carbon which are attached with double bond are attached to CO. So this carbon changes to carboxylic acid. This carbon also changes to carboxylic acid. This triple bond will change to single bond and we will get oxalic acid. Under drastic conditions, alkynes react to form carboxylic acid. But if there is one carbon, terminal carbon, it gets oxidized to CO2. Reason that formic acid which is supposed to be formed gets oxidized to form CO2. So this is propyne on oxidation with KMnO4, alkaline KMnO4 on heating gives you acetic acid plus carbon dioxide. Let's take up important points. During the reaction with KMnO4, the purple color of KMnO4 is discharged. That is, it becomes colorless. Hence, this reaction is used in qualitative analysis as a test for detection of carbon-carbon double bond in the molecule. This is called Bayer's reagent test. If the products of these oxidation cleavage reactions are characterized or studied, the structure of the starting alkynes can be determined. because the position of cleavage corresponds to the position of triple bond. So this test also helps to find out the position of triple bond in the original compound. For example, here we get the product acetic acid and carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide means there is a terminal carbon attached with hydrogen. This acetic acid means there is CH3 attached with the carbon which is triple bonded. So we can find out where is the triple bond in the original compound by studying the products. Next topic is ozonolysis of alkynes. Ozone adds to alkynes to form ozonide, and these ozonides are hydrolyzed to dicarbonyl compounds, generally in the presence of zinc and water. This is alkynes which reacts with ozone to form ozonide. Here, out of triple bond, one bond is retained. One oxygen is added above and two oxygen are added down. Now this reacts with zinc and water and result in the formation of diketone. Here bond breaks like this. This oxygen is taken by water to form hydrogen peroxide. Here bond breaks, this changes to double bond, this changes to double bond, and we get diketone. So zinc and water is the better for this second reaction. Hydrogen peroxide formed above affects the oxidative cleavage of carbonyl compounds forming carboxylic acid mixture. Now this, if further remains contact with hydrogen peroxide, this compound can further get oxidized. This particular part will get oxidized to RCOOH. This particular part also will get oxidized to R-COOH, that is 2 moles of carboxylic acid will be formed. And if alkyl groups are different, we get 2 different carboxylic acid. If they are same, we get 2 moles of same carboxylic acid. Formation of metallic derivatives. Acetylene and terminal alkynes, not dialkyl acetylenes, react with alkali metals of Grignard reagents to form acetylides due to acidic character of such alkynes. That is, H ions is readily replaceable. This is the example. We have got alkynes. We are reacting with 2Na. So this hydrogen, which is acidic in nature, is replaced by Na and we get hydrogen gas. Similarly, we have reaction with alkynes with Grignard reagent. R-MgX is called Grignard reagent. Grignard reagent in general is alkyl magnesium halide. Now here also this H will be replaced by MgX and this R- will combine with H positive to form R-H, that is hydrocarbon is formed. These are the tests for acetylene and terminal alkynes with heavy metal ions like Cu+, Ag+, etc. to form insoluble acetylide. The first test is ammonical cuprous chloride test. So when terminal alkynes or acetylene reacts with ammonical cuprous chloride, which mainly gives cuprous ions, so this hydrogen ion is replaced by copper and we get cuprous acetylide, which is a reddish brown precipitate. So this test can be used to distinguish between 1-butyne and 2-butyne, because 1-butyne has terminal terminal carbon with hydrogen, which is acidic in nature, but 2-butyne does not have acidic hydrogen, which will not give this test. Similarly, this is Tollens reagent test. If we react acetylene or terminal alkynes with the Tollens reagent, we get silver acetylide, which is white precipitate, and that can also be used to distinguish between 1-butyne and 2-butyne. That is terminal alkynes with non-terminal alkynes. Even we want to differentiate between alkynes and alkenes, we can use these tests, ammonical cuprous chloride test and Tollens reagent test. Because only terminal alkynes will give this test, alkenes and alkanes do not respond to this test. And this test is due to acidic nature of alkynes. Let's take up some key points. The reaction of alkynes with heavy metal ions provide a base for the following: a basis for the diagnostic test for acetylene or terminal alkynes. The purification of alkynes can be affected as acetylides are readily decomposed by dilute mineral acid to regenerate acetylene. So if we want to separate alkynes from the given mixture, we can use this reagent and regenerate alkynes back. The separation of alkynes from alkenes and alkanes can be done with the help of metal acetylide. Acetylide, being typical nucleophiles, react with alkyl halides to form higher alkynes. This is acetylide ion which is generated from terminal alkynes. it reacts with alkyl halide, X negative will be removed, heterolytic fission will take place, this R dash positive will combine with negative ions to form alkyne, that is higher alkynes. Next we are taking addition reactions. Electrophilic addition reactions. Compared with alkenes, the electrophilic addition reactions to alkynes are much slower. The low reactivity of alkynes towards the electrophile is ascribed to following two factors. The first one is steric factor. Possibly the bridged intermediate cation formed by the initial attack on the triple bond by the electrophile is highly strained and hence unstable, and unstable means it will not be formed readily. This is the highly strained, less stable, this triple bond. If electrophile is attacked, this intermediate will be formed, which is cyclic, strained and less stable. So because this formation is difficult, therefore attack by electrophile is difficult on triple bond. Secondly, triply bonded carbon are sp hybridized, and as we know that pi electrons are more tightly bound to the carbon nuclei, hence they are less available for the combination with electrophile, which is E positive. However, some representative electrophilic reactions, addition reactions, are given below. First, we are taking addition of halogens. Just like alkenes, alkynes also decolorize bromine water. And due to addition reaction which take place, and due to addition reaction, the new compound is formed which is colorless. First, we are adding Br2. Now here first Br positive, that is electrophile, will attack, and second Br negative will attack from the reverse side or opposite side. That's why we get trans isomer, trans 1,2-dibromoalkene. In the second step, Br2 will be added, one Br will be added here, one Br will be added here, and we get tetrabromoalkane. And in this reaction, bromine water will get decolorized, which shows the presence of triple bond in alkynes.